Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
You know, get the physical copy like I
Uh,
have here,
Woo!
get the physical copy before I check anything out. There's certain albums, bands, artists that I prefer to just kind of get the physical thing and experience it the old school way rather than to do the secure stream and whatnot. So in our conversation, I was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to David and see if we can get him on for an interview because, again, big fan of your work, especially, I
Thank
think
you.
you did a couple things that I think are on some of the North American fans' radar, which was Bangalore Choir, and then your time with Accept, and then you also
Mm.
joined Bonfire. So I mean, all bands that are well known in the hard rock circles. So, well, let's just start with this though. The album. How long has this one been in the works? To do another a follow up because this one is actually titled, it's rapid succession, but it's on target too, right? So it's like a continuation to a degree. Pretty lengthy record. So you loaded this one up.
Well, Rapid Fire Succession on Target Part 2 is my brainchild because On Target came out sadly right before the
Right.
explosion of the music scene. And
Hmm.
we had top management, HK, they had Whitesnake, Hart, everybody. I had Warner Brothers, everything was in motion. You couldn't have asked for a stronger team. I was work Stevie Nicks' personal assistant was my personal manager. Rolling, man. And went out and did a couple of tours, mid-level things, Lynch Mob and a bunch of stuff. And literally like 90 days after, they told me to go get a real job. So it
Right.
was just brain fog. But in the interim, I've tried to release a few Bangalore Choir records. I did Cadence. I did a record called Metaphor with Bangalore and a live album from
Yeah.
England when we played
Right.
Firefest. And then I did a record called Center Mass.
Right.
But in all sincerity, those follow ups, there may have been three killers and the rest were fillers. It was
Hmm.
never as strong, in my opinion, as On Target. That
Right.
album crushed it.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I living in Europe as long as I have and toured over here. I never played France, if you can believe that. So
Oh,
last
wow.
year in the
Okay.
fall, yeah. I mean, I've looked at France across the highway from another
Sure.
country, but
Right.
um, we should play France. And a lot of people go, "Oh, you don't want to play that." Yeah, I do. I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Chambéry. I want to go everywhere. I want to go to Normandy. I want to see the beach. I want to do it all.
Right.
Well, anyways, had a pretty successful run as a solo artist and considerable crowds. People know me from Bangalore Choir, actually, the first album to this day.
Right.
I put a lot of that in my set every night, which I've done since '92. And I play some of the Accept Eat the Heat stuff and a couple classic covers.
Hmm.
So, you kind of get to a mid level where you're not really going to gain any ground as a solo guy unless you're young blood. Right?
Right.
So I'm coming home and I'm thinking, driving back to Italy, and I'm going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reform, make another Bangalore Choir record. It's the branding. Because I saw what Mike Tramp did with Songs of White Lion. I've been
Right.
watching bands like Dokken and all this stuff surviving just on the brand. May not
Hmm.
be anybody but Don, but, and Foreigner, for example.
Yeah.
So pick up the phone, call the management and the booking agent. I'm going to do this. And like, hallelujah. Now we can really open the floodgates for bookings because that brand, people know it. They
Hmm.
know David Reece here, but
Hmm.
the brand is bigger here.
Sure.
That was a decision.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it's on Target Part 2, I said to myself, I'm not just going to write a bunch of songs and call it Bangalore Choir and throw it out there against the wall. I went back to On Target and tried to put my head in that record at that time. I don't know about you, but I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. So
Right.
I studied on target and I studied in my mind the audience response to what songs work. And my writing partner, Andy Susamil, who I've worked with since the Accept days when he was with Udo, that's how we met. He was next door to me in the same studio at the same
Right.
time. I call him my weapon of mass production. We've done 30 albums together.
Wow.
And I called him because he had done some live Bangalore choir shows with some of the excellent original members with me. And he's just a brilliant guitar player, singer, and writer. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm doing this, but it's got to be as close to on target as possible. He said,
Hmm.
sure, let's get started. I'm going to tell you the first 4 or 5 things we worked on, it just didn't grab me.
Okay.
And the first song that we put together that was very reminiscent of On Target was Driver's Seat,
Okay.
which is now
Yeah.
number 2 at 97. It's kicking
Right.
butt.
Right. I,
I've
I
been
saw
on
that.
I've been in the charts with Bullet Train for 6 consecutive weeks at number 1, and this is the most airplay I've had,
Right.
honestly, in 3 decades. So um, once Driver's Seat was completed, I went right into the studio here in my village. My bassist and drummer are still working with me. They have a studio and a rehearsal room. I went right over there and recorded. I said, that's it. I think the second song was Bullet Train. It fell out of the sky. And then
Yeah.
we were on a roll.
Wow.
Andy and I have this manic relationship where once we get it, it just flows.
Right.
So that's how it all came into fruition, brother. And
Wow.
I can say with an open heart, I think I hit it with this one.
Yeah.
It's close, and I'm very proud of it. A lot of times I do an album and I go, God, what have I done?
Yeah. Right.
But not this
With
one.
this rapid succession, I mean, wow. No filler here.
I thank you, and I hear that I do media now since probably September
Hmm.
promoting this record, and everybody went, "Oh God, 16's on."
Right.
And you got 100-minute limit now on a disc, and
Well, sure. Right.
you know, I think Prince was the one that broke the mold with that. He did like 18 songs, and they were like two
Something.
and a half minutes. And
Yeah.
it was like, what are you doing? And they all kind of sounded the same. And it's like, I love Prince, but what is this? And who's got that much time, like you said, other than getting in a car? And how many new cars do you see coming up the line with a
Right.
CD player installed, right? So you gotta kind of be old school to put
Hmm.
it in, go feel it out, put the window down if it's not too cold, and crank it.
Right.
Live with it. When your mind isn't stuck on these things that we're communicating on, or the
Hmm.
kids are screaming, or the wife's screaming.
Sure.
But like I said, when Andy and and it's not just Andy. I wrote 3 with Mario Percadani, as you can see in the
Hmm.
CD. From
Right.
he was with Hardline. He also lives within an hour of me, and
Okay.
he's a phenomenal talent. And I called him one day. I said, I'm really rolling on this thing. I know you could contribute musically to it. What do you got? He said, come over. I wrote, I'm headed for I Never Meant to and Love and War with him in like 2 days.
Hmm.
Eh? And we tracked it. And they were demoed. So then I sent it to the players and they put their colors on it. But I've also got Ferdy Dornberg on the last song, Mending Fences. I wanted kind of an Elton John gospel
Yeah.
piano thing
Yeah.
for track 16. And I said, Ferdy and I used to jam a lot backstage. And he told me one night we were sitting there playing some Ray Charles type stuff. And he goes,
Hmm.
you're the only singer besides one other that I can do this with that gets it. And I go, who's the other guy? He goes, Joe Lynn Turner.
Oh, no
I said, oh,
kidding.
that's a
Oh,
compliment.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
said, I always rang in my head. So I need to
Sure.
call him. So he jumped in, sent me some music, and I wrote that with him. So yeah, it's a collective of what I am is really blessed, Ruben,
Sure.
to have really talented people around me.
Hmm.
You know, I'm blessed. But if I get an idea in my head, I'm going full charge. I'm a bull in a china shop.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I am.
Yeah. No, but Mhm.
But I'm not a metal singer. I'm a
Right.
hard rock blues singer.
Right.
So that's where I'm at home, where my shoes fit.
Hmm.
And if I'm not, I sing barefoot a lot in the studio. And if I
Oh,
don't
wow.
feel it, the
Okay.
vibration, and I
Okay.
can look through the glass, and if the engineer sitting there recording me is kind of looking at his phone, and
Uh-huh.
And I go, what do you think? And he goes, ain't buying it. I already feel that before he says that.
Okay.
So I was buying it as I was writing these songs. So I knew when I went in to track them, it was like, yeah, it's studio day. Let's go rock,
Right.
I think I got it, but I was apprehensive as well. Who knows? I mean, what
Right.
people would perceive what the hell I'm doing. I mean,
Hmm.
but so far it's working.
And it's interesting because I think except that was a metal band. And then when you
Mm,
came in, you brought in more of the melodic end of things, right? And
mm.
for whatever reason, again, it was probably, you have a change in vocalists and some people are harder to win over than others, but there was some good stuff on that particular record, Eat the Heat. I mean, wow.
Well, that was the whole concept. I mean,
Hmm.
with Udo, they could only attain so many units worldwide, huge in Europe and certain territories, but never crossed the pond. And the label said, if you want this to keep making records with our label, you need to get radio. We need to make this thing go from 400,000 to 2 or 3 million.
Right.
So get a guy who speaks English better, blonde hair, can sing heavy stuff and melodic stuff, and kind of. If you listen to like Metal Heart and Russian Roulette, they were
Yeah.
kind of steering away
Yeah.
more of a commercial direction.
Yeah.
So Eat the Heat was not that far of a
Right.
progression of where they were going because Udo's voice is Udo Dirkschneider. He's
Sure.
one of my best friends. He is Accept. He's the voice of
Right.
Accept to me.
Yeah.
But he can't do a love song. I mean, the guy's a German tank. He can be
Right.
fast as a shark
Yeah.
100 nights in a row. Fail
Yeah.
ironclad voice, but yeah, that and what happens in Europe is you can throw out a few stinkers every couple of years in
Hmm.
records, and the loyalists will stand by you.
Sure.
The thing with Accept was it was such a blow to the system, to the fans that started with the first album,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden, what have you done to our band? So I was either loved or hated. There was no middle.
Hmm.
The interesting thing about Eat the Heat, though, now, some 36 years later, people come to me and
Yeah.
apologize at merchandise. You know what, Dave? Forgive me. This is a really good album.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. And they'll have the original pressing
Yeah.
and pull it out, and I'll sign the vinyl, and
Sure.
they'll put it in a
Right.
frame, and they reissued it a couple of years ago while I was on tour with Udo, actually opening
Uh-huh.
for him in orange vinyl. They did
Oh,
like
no kidding.
3,000 copies, and it sold in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people were bringing that, and they were like, "I hated your guts, man."
Yeah.
The reason I say this,
Yeah.
in Germany, Udo is one of. I went to see an Udo show when Andy was in the band, and I asked the
Hmm.
manager. I said, "What is it about that guy?" And she looked at me in my eyes, and she said, "He's one of them.
Yeah.
He comes from a steel factory in Bavaria, where it's the daily grind, then to the pub, eat your dinner, go home, pass out, do the grind. Don't really he got out.
Hmm.
So they were proud one of their own made it,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And that's the identity that he has in Europe. He could throw out a shit record and people would still buy it, the same
Yeah.
amount of people.
Right.
It's still Udo.
Yeah.
And it made complete sense to me. I mean, I went,
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas
I
in
think.
America, here
Yeah.
today, gone later today.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That wouldn't have flown. I agree with you. I think with Udo, there is this kind of sense of the man of the people, right? Kind of like with
Yeah.
Doro
Oh,
too. Doro could put
yeah.
out a stinker, but super nice, fan friendly, likable, relatable
I
person.
remember her as an 18-year-old kid in Dirk Studios with her first manager in Warlock,
Hmm.
sitting there, a shy little blonde girl.
Yeah.
And I go, "Who's that?" And that's the singer of Warlock. Who are they? Yeah, they're a German band, kind of local. They're making some records. And then now I've played shows with her. I've seen her. I know her. There's this legion of loyal
Hmm.
fans. She does the same set pretty much every night. All We Are, those songs,
Right.
and the people
Yeah.
go bonkers. I
Yeah.
mean, and boys are madly in love with it. There's guys my age that are still thinking they're going to get a shot at dating.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you
Right.
know, it's got the appeal, right?
Hmm.
Raise your horns high.